to another episode of our podcast. And today with me, I have Mathieu, the famous TikToker who does a lot of food videos. Hello, Bruce.
Hi, Maureen. Thank you for having me today.
No. Thank you for inviting me to Katong, Joo Chiat area. And now we are actually at Joo Chiat Place Char Kway Teow.
Yes.
This is one of your favorites.
Yes, it is. So I am born and bred in Katong, true blue Katong boy. And this is the place I come to. I mean, there are 3 Char Kway Teows that I love, absolutely love. This is one of them. The next one is at Marine Parade, the one where the Char Kway Teow is very garlicky. And then the third one is at Jalan Tua Kong, the coffee shop. Grandfather Carrot Cake, their Char Kway Teow is also the bomb, really. These 3 are my go-tos. So how I got into TikTok was because, back then when COVID was at its height, right, a lot of F&B outlets were affected. So one day while I was at a food store having lunch, I thought to myself, how can I help this guy out in his business? So I thought, just do a TikTok video promoting the place because his food was not bad. And I did. And then that's where I kept on going and going and going. And there was even one stall that I did a TikTok on. The TikTok went viral.
Viral meaning how many views?
Meaning I think within 2 days or 3 days, more than 100,000 views.
Wow,
yeah.
Which stall?
The one at Chinatown Complex, the bamboo nasi lemak. Yup.
我知道。
很好吃哦。
Yes, very good.
I tell you guys, when I went to eat their bamboo nasi lemak, oh my gosh, it was best.
No one.
And then what happened was, after I did the TikTok, right? I mean, the TikTok went viral. I didn't know whether the business caught on or I didn't know. So 2 weeks later, when I went back, right, from afar, when the pakcik, so it's run by a couple, the pakcik saw me walking from afar. I said, masaleh gila, lu jangan post lagi. I said, kenapa ni, cik? Pakcik kenapa? Lu jangan post. Sekarang kau tak boleh angkat lah business. So he told me after I posted, business was so good that if you wanted to eat today, you had to order 2 days before.
Wow, pre-order some more.
Yep. And I tell you, I'm very glad I could help. By the way, I don't earn money from them. It was my way of helping. Yeah, and I'm just glad that I was able to help.
We talk about your mum first lah. So your mum basically never give up on you lah.
Yep.
So besides your mum, is there any other, like maybe a particular warden that made a positive impact in your life?
Oh yes. There's one particular officer during my last imprisonment. He was my whole OC. His name, if I'm not wrong, Mr. Nizam. I tell you. He is one of the few officers that I met in my life before that really have a heart to help inmates. One of the few. He was my whole OC, that's why I dare say that. I mean, of course, there are other officers out there who have a heart to help ex-offenders too. Like, who's that? Boon Keng's officer, Mr. Simon Lee and all that. There are many. But those whom I've direct encounter with, I would say Mr. Nizam. He's the one.
How come How you feel it?
Okay, during my last incarceration, with my background, I am not supposed to to go on a prison program, so to speak. All right. But although I'm disqualified, he pushed for it. He pushed for me, He sort of like guaranteed me, become my guarantor. That is why when others got like 1 year, 9 months or 6 months, I only got 3 months. And it was exactly because I went on a 3-month program at Teen Challenge, or I should say it was during my stay at Teen Challenge that I had developed a burden for those who have been in my shoes. So much so that after my release, I became a staff at Teen Challenge. And then, that's where the ball started rolling, of me going out, sharing my life story with people, hoping that I would inspire people to change or that I might shorten people's learning curve. So just imagine if that officer hasn't vouched for me to go on a prison program, I wouldn't have gone to Teen Challenge, and maybe this life of mine wouldn't have been possible.
Here as well.
Yep. So he was one of the officers that really made an impact in my life. And for that, I'm very thankful to him. Yep.
So you make friends with all your inmates. Are there situations where, you guys quarrel and fight?
I think to tell you, you would think that, inmates fighting among inmates would be a big surprise. You find it a surprise?
No?
No, right? Yes. For those of you who find that inmates quarreling or fighting amongst each other surprising, I tell you, don't be surprised. That is the norm, all right? If you find inmates kissing with another inmate, that one you can get surprised. Okay?
You seen that?
Of course not lah. I know of cases happening before, but zip, cannot tell. Fights and quarrels is very common because at the end of the day, no two characters are alike. You're thrown into a cell with 3 individuals whom you have never met before, right? So friction is bound to happen, correct or not? So it's either we make do with the best of it, or if you really cannot stand this cell, you have to move out. And you may request for it, your request is not granted, right? Then you start something.
What kind of request?
Like, hi sir, I request to move out from this cell because my cellmate and I don't click. The old Changi Place, sometimes your request will be acceded, sometimes it won't be. So if those times that it won't be, you start something lah. After you start something, right, guarantee you move out.
Do you know of anyone that tried to escape from prison?
I mean, there were cases, in the old, was it Sembawang or Selarang? There were people who escaped.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, they were caught. I know one of them is still around. I know him. He's a friend of mine. He's currently serving, I think, drug trafficking or possession or something. Yeah.
So after the second time you came out and then?
Second time is the robbery thing.
Yeah, the robbery.
So I came out, after a short while, I went back to drugs again. I went back to drugs, then I went on the run because I didn't go for urine test. After 1 over year, I got caught, and then I went in for 6 years. Yep. 6 years, same thing, never really thought about changing. But back then when I came out, I was 33. I had no savings, no nothing. So I told myself, wow, Bruce, you're already 33, you better do something with your life. So when I came out that time, I thought, turn over a new leaf, start afresh. So first 3 months, I went for job interviews. Every job interview in the application form, they say, have you ever been, charged in a court of law? I put yes. And you know what happened? No one ever called me. No one returned my call. After 3 months, my whatever money I had was exhausted. I still remember I only had $10 left in my pocket. I didn't know what to do with it. To buy food, to buy cigarettes, to take a taxi home. I didn't know what to do back then. Yep. And then that was when I met an old friend of mine who owned a pub. All right, and he hired me to work in the pub. Yep.
Yeah, and you worked for how long?
I worked for a period of 1 year, and after that, another company headhunted me. I worked over there for also a year, and then I started my own business. I opened a shop in Far East Square selling fruit juice and beer, simply called Fruits and Beer. Yay, simple name. Yep. So back then, I did both legal and illegal business. So money was pretty good, right? So
illegal business, what kind? Cannot say, huh?
So I used to do a bit of loan sharking and all that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, money was good. Then I got like 5 figures every month, But the problem was, I didn't have time to spend because I had to look after my legal business. So what happened was one day during off-peak period after lunch, I went behind to take a rest behind my shop. And then I saw someone that was totally out of place. Mind you, my shop was in CBD area. I saw this Malay dude wearing shorts and t-shirt. All right, I know this guy. This guy is 100% mud from Geylang Serai area. I know him. He saw me. He greeted me. He asked me what am I doing here. I said I have a shop here. So I asked him what was he doing here. He said, no lah, I came to supply one of my customers, you know what I mean? He said, he's at work, he cannot come, so he asked me to send to him. Back then he was selling heroin lah. Then he asked me, hey Bruce, abang macam lu lama tak isap You have not smoked for a long time. I said, yeah lah, I have not smoked for 1 year. Huh? How you want? No, I got spare down here. Oh my gosh, I tell you, when he asked me that question, the craving. I mean, for 1 year, I had not thought about drugs, But when you ask me that question, I tell you, all of a sudden, the craving, boom, just hit me like a ton of bricks, And
and you agreed?
And, I told myself, yeah, Bruce, just try this one time. You know, what's the worst that could happen? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, do you know our brain is such a marvelous organ that it will concoct lies for you for something that you know you shouldn't be having, but you really want it. Yeah, so you start for making up lies for you, lor. So this is what my brain did for me. Yeah, just take this one time lah. What's the worst that could happen? So I bought that one straw of heroin from him, and as I was walking off, he said, "Hey Bruce," I said, "Why?" "Hey, take my number down just in case, lor." And I made one of the biggest mistake I ever made in my life. I took his number down, and that was the beginning of the end.
And then?
And within I think, I know it's less than 6 months, I got caught again. And I went back.
And what happened to that shop? You closed it and all?
No, after I went in, my mother was running the shop.
Oh.
Yeah, my mother and my back then girlfriend was running the shop for another few years until the landlord wanted to raise the rent by 50%. Then they said no, lor.
So there's actually really a difference between craving and addiction, right?
Craving and addiction is two different things, right?
You crave for it.
You see, an addiction is when you need something. When you don't have that something, you cannot function properly. Right? Craving is, you want to eat something.
Yep.
Whereas if you don't have that something, it
It's
doesn't
okay.
affect the quality of your life. Right? Whereas an addiction, if you know what I mean, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So when you went in, every time when you went in to prison, right, how did your mom respond? Numb?
I mean, I was the only child, so every parent's aspiration is for their child to grow up to be someone useful to society, someone outstanding in life. Of course, when I grew up to be not only a gangster but also a drug addict, I was a very, very huge disappointment to my mom. I was a very huge disappointment. I can't lie, but mothers being mothers, I'm so glad that she never gave up on me. Every time I go to prison, she would, of course, being mother, she'll pat, she'll nag, hoping that I'll change my ways, but back then I never did. Yeah. But like I said, I'm so glad she never gave up on me. She came each and every time. There was once I was in prison, she was actually hospitalized for breast cancer. She discharged herself from hospital just to come and see me for the 20 minutes, because she knew that if she did not come, I would go haywire. Because back then there's no telephone, what you cannot. Hey boy, what can you boy like? No such thing, no. If I miss a visit, I would start thinking, very bad thoughts. First, it would be, my mom don't love me anymore, lah. They abandoned me, lah. And then, you'll be followed by something bad happened to my family, lah. You get what I mean? Yeah. All prisoners, our thinking is somewhat warped in that sense, Yeah. So in order to save me from having those thoughts, she discharged herself from hospital just to see me for the 20 minutes now. And
Mother's
she had to wait outside 1 over hour just to see me for the 20 minutes. Yeah. So I dare say, if it wasn't for my mom's persistence in not giving up on me and my mom's love, I won't be where I am today. Also, it's also because of part of the love that she has shown me that made me decided to start life all over again.
Wow. So going back to caning,
Yeah.
so you have 12 strokes.
The first time I got 12 strokes. So all in all, I got caned 21.
And are you supportive of it? Okay. So do you think it's a good deterrent?
So this is what I think. Any form of punishment, if it's just solely punishment by itself, would not be totally beneficial to inmates, especially inmates who got into trouble because of drugs. If you really want to rehabilitate an inmate, especially because of drug issue, punishment must be coupled with counselings. All right? Because you think about it. Let me ask you a question. If you have a headache, I give you po zai yun. Will it help you?
No lah.
So what must I give you?
Panadol.
Exactly. Only giving you Panadol will help, right? So just think about this. Drug addiction is a problem of the mind, right? So if it's totally punishment, it doesn't really help. Because you think about this, if it's solely punishment, it would actually you actually have the opposite effect. Meaning, one would think that, the more you cane a person, the longer you put a person in prison, you scare the person off, right? Actually has the opposite effect, no? Do you know that? The longer you put a person in prison, the less he'll be afraid of prison.
Oh, that's true, huh?
There's actually a word for it, no? It's called institutionalized, right? So if you talk about solely punishment by itself, does it really help? It might help to a certain degree, but not totally. So my belief is punishment must be coupled with like counseling workshops,
Yep.
if you really want to rehabilitate that person. Yeah.
Have you stayed in B1 before? I'm curious.
B1 never. Because B1 mostly is for blue collar inmates,
Okay.
CT or PD inmates. Yeah.
So most of all your imprisonment is all in the four-man cell kind.
4-man cell, unless punishment cell alone.
So how's your day like?
Okay, so if you are in lockup and you are a worker, it's totally different. If you're in lockup session, that means you're in your cell 23 hours a day. 1 hour you'll be out. In the old prison you get Old Changi prison, you'll be let down to the yard. In the CPC, new CPC, you'll be let out either to day room or the yard. Day room, you know what's the day room? Exactly right in front of yourself. Yes.
Oh.
So open the door, you strip, then you squat, bend up and down. The warders want to see that you're carrying nothing out. You know what I mean? Just in case you carry a weapon to step someone, or you got blue-black marks on your body, meaning you have fought in your cell with someone. Yeah, everything is in order. They let you out, and then you get to watch a television program, a pre-recorded television program. Yep.
What kind of shows?
I don't know lah. So one day it's English, Chinese, and they have a schedule.
Okay.
They have a schedule to keep. So there's a rotation. So I still remember. Can you imagine if they play movies like Sherlock Holmes? You know a movie?
Yep.
I watched Sherlock Holmes in the old, when I was during my last sentence. I watched the front part at least 4 or 5 times. Watch the front, but never the ending. Yeah, because we're out there for 45 minutes only one.
So you keep repeating the same.
Yeah, I watched the 气死人啊！每次看头不看尾，
Can
是
tell
假
them
的
or
嘞。
not? Next day do the second half lah.
Yeah, please lah, you guys. 我只懂淡薄嘞 You know, it's like, very torturing for the inmates. No, you made us watch movie 2 hours, see the front, then cannot see the back. Purposely one, right, yo?
What about prison food?
Okay, so prison food is, like I told you, right? Prison do hire dietitians to ensure that inmates have the correct amount of vitamins, minerals to eat, all right? To assure us and to reassure your loved ones, your family members that, hey, your loved one inside, right? Don't worry, they'll receive the correct nutrients, but they never guarantee you the food is nice. That's the only thing they don't guarantee.
So prison food is...
Oh my gosh, prison food is...
delicious.
I really don't understand. I mean, when I was back then, before I came out, you know what was the kitchen's favorite spice? Lemongrass.
Oh, that sounds okay. Lemongrass, okay, what?
Yeah, sound okay. Just imagine they can cook your tauhu until it become yellow in color. That amount of lemongrass, no? You tell me it's okay. And then not only that, if I'm not wrong, once a week or once every 2 weeks, we have ikan bilis. I love ikan bilis, no?
The nasi lemak lah.
The
fried
ikan
kind
bilis,
lah.
yeah. They cook it lemongrass.
Lemongrass with ikan bilis?
Yes.
Is it deep fried?
Yes, but then they kind of soggy kind of thing. Oh my God, I tell you. Really, really. Lemongrass is supposed to be something very fragrant and nice if it's in the correct amount, but not when there's excess of it. It was really in excess, Maureen. I kid you not. Walao, the
When
taste.
you come out, got eat lemongrass or not?
No. I stayed off lemongrass for 1-2 years. Walao, like phobia, no. Wow, 闻到 lemongrass, oh. Wow, that
So-
bad, you know.
Was there like a particular memorable dish there? Like you think, okay lah, not bad lah, or you all have your own like recipes?
Okay, so every one of us will be given one special food a year, depending on the celebration that you're celebrating. So like for me, I'm a Christian, so I get to celebrate Christmas. Then for the Chinese, you can either opt for Christmas or Chinese New Year. So this once a year food, right, consists of what we call a 7 or an X.
What's that? What's 7 or X?
7 right? 你不会听哦。
不会嘞。
Drumstick, you know the 7. The very 很大只的
the
drumstick,
drumstick,
you know, like L shape, yeah. So once a year we get a special food, that chicken cooked in whatever style that the chef want to cook, special rice, and then some condiments at the side, lor. Yeah. So it'd be something away from the norm that we eat. Yeah. So I guess every prisoner would look forward to that one meal a year, lah, where it's special. But if you talk about things that we normally eat on our own, my favorite would always be breakfast. And I could say the same for a lot of inmates, because you know what, when you're a worker, you know, you could buy your own biscuits like Mary biscuit or cream crackers. And then what we like to do is this, you can also buy like peanut butter and all that. So what we like to do is, on the days when we drink tea, we like to dip our Mary biscuit inside a tea, and then we put it together with our bread. You spread a bit of peanut butter on it, you put together. Alright, it's what we call the Mary biscuit sandwich. Oh my gosh, I tell you, Maureen. But mind you, you must dip until the Mary biscuit is soft already. Put it together, and then you try this sandwich for yourself.
Teh or teh?
Teh, not teh.
Okay.
Cannot kopi, no teh, must be teh.
Okay.
Okay, teh, dip in Mary biscuit until the biscuit is soft. 2 slices of bread with butter on one side and jam on the other, and then you put a bit of peanut butter on it. Put the dip softened Mary biscuit inside the bread. Put the other slice of bread on top. Press it slightly together so the biscuit won't come out, and then you take a bite. And I tell you,
Wow,
this
sorry,
is
I cannot imagine.
something that all inmates love. Whew. I've been out 7 years, but can you imagine? I'm still eating it until today, and this is how good it is. If you
这样
don't,
厉害。
对呀，你不相信, you go and try.
Oh.
You definitely love it.
Okay, sorry. This might sound very stupid. So, what happens on your birthday?
What?
Is there like a special meal also?
Birthday Birthday got special meal. You wait long a special meal. You think what? Huh? Outside go what? Awfully chocolate, buy chocolate cake and eat. Walao eh. But sometimes, you know, your cellmates will make birthday cakes for you.
Huh? Your cellmates make birthday
cellmates
cakes for you?
or your friends from other cells. Yeah.
How to make
so
birthday cake?
We make birthday cakes. So let me teach you. You take your bread, all right? So I guess 8 slices of bread will be just nice. You tear the crust out, okay? You rip up the bread into shreds, right? You dip it in a bit of coffee to soften it, You throw it inside the pail. You add margarine, and you know, sometimes we have banana for fruits, right? You break up the banana, you throw it all together, and then you squash it, you mix it well until it becomes in a dough, like a dough, right? Yes, so you know when it's done inside either a pail or a cup, you know, it conforms to the shape of the cup, right? So that you pour it out, you knock it out, you know, it's the shape of a cup. That is your cake, lor. You leave it for a few minutes to let it like harden a bit. Yep, it becomes a banana cake.
Wow.
Hey, very nice, no? I kid you not, no? 真的很好吃嘞。真的, you know, if it's well done, you mix it, you mash it up well, it really tastes like a banana cake on the outside.
Wow.
Yep.
Then got candle or not?
Wow, this guy, your imagination very good. You think what inside got 7-Eleven, can go and buy cheers, Walao eh. Hey, hello, 坐牢嘞，你为什么?
No, you guys always have ways. I mean, I see from movies lah. Inmates always have ways to, you know, smuggle things and then do be creative lah. Be creative lah.
哇，什么都听乱讲话。
or come up with something like
Creative?
Yeah, something creative.
So what happened is, I guess, we're locked up 23 hours in a cell, and being in prison is a very monotonous life, yeah. So to break the monotony of prison life, we will do just about anything out of the norm, just to make life interesting, Yeah, even if it is for a minute, we would do it. Seriously.
What have you done? Anything interesting?
Okay, so besides the food, right? Cooking inside the cell, right? Hey, did we mention that cooking just now? It was okay. So we do cook inside the cell. Old Changi prison, now cannot because now don't have matches anymore. So in the old Changi prison, we're allowed to buy tobacco. So as such, we still got matches, matches. So what we do is, okay, you might ask how do we get the fire started, right? So you know when you go barbecue, there's this thing called a starter. We make our own starter. So what we do is we take a piece of cloth, probably about 2 feet long, blanket lah. We put a strip of plastic bag on top. So the plastic bag we can get from like your rubbish, sampalong kind of plastic bag. Put a strip on top, and then on top of that we put a strip of toilet paper. The toilet paper is spread with margarine.
Margarine 很好用哦。
对啊，油啊。
哦。
So we roll it up, but it mustn't be too tight, yeah? And that lump of thing is the starter lor. So what we do is we burn a piece of plastic bag, okay? Let the plastic drip onto the starter and it catches fire lor. And I kid you not, that lump of starter can keep a fire going for at least 3-4 hours,
Who taught you that?
This one 这个秘诀是传下来的。From these are skills passed down from the older prisoners lor. Yeah.
Wow.
So you might ask, now you got a fire, but where do you get the wok or the pot to cook, right? So back then we could buy UHT milk. You know those packet? So we had small packet and big packet lah.
Inside aluminium.
Yeah. So we use that lor. So you just open up the box, you pour the milk, 你放东西在里面就可以煮了啊。
But where you get the 东西, the ingredients?
We can buy from a canteen item. So back then we can buy canned food. Unlike today, you only got dry food. Yeah. So last time you buy canned food like luncheon meat, tau si he, pickled lettuce. You know what I mean? Curry chicken, curry mutton, pork cubes, and all that. So we'll mix, put water in it, to boil it into a soup, and we eat among the cellmates.
烤鱼 guys. This is
烤鱼
like grilled fish,
yeah,
right?
No. 我有烤过午餐肉。Yeah, 午餐肉 you know right? Luncheon meat. You know luncheon meat bread I love to eat
Yeah.
So 嗰晚我烤午餐肉夾 the bread 卸掉。很久没有吃到，那个吃了很爽 really.
Party
Yeah, but you cannot get caught. No, you get caught is I tell you, a major charge in prison to cook inside the cell. Yeah, so we were actually taking a very big risk, a huge risk actually. So can you imagine if we're willing to take a huge risk, how boring prison life is? You think about it.
Yeah lah, I mean, to be honest, 23 hours in a cell,
Yeah.
you really got to find things to do, right?
So every inmate will have their own, I call it, they'll devise their own survival mechanism.
So what's yours?
So mine was reading. I love to read. Believe it or not, I could read from lights on to lights off without talking in my cell. I could do that. I've done that. I did that for many years.
You'll probably be the best student, the top student if you study.
Not really. I hate studying.
Oh.
I love reading, but I hate studying. There was even this dude, Chinese guy, who learned Tamil in prison. He not only learned to speak, but learned to read. I'm not joking. He to the extent he read the Tamil papers, Indian paper in prison,
Wow.
Yep. You know that I had one back in the old Changi prison. There was this top Scrabble player. He only had primary 6 education. Malaysian guy, primary 6 education. But I tell you, his Scrabble was 真的冇得頂啊.
You played with him before?
I played with him before. Very hard to beat him. He's really, really championship level. I talk about competition level on the outside, not inside, outside, Yep. He was that good. He know how to block you. He know how to form words. But you ask him what's the meaning of the word, he said he don't know. Yeah. Wow.
太厉害了 Oh
对
my
咯
god.
There are actually many inmates, prisoners who are very, very smart people, honestly. But it's just that, it's such a waste. They use their smarts. Yeah, lah.
The wrong way.
Yeah, exactly.
And then your last imprisonment ended in
2016, March of 2016. Yeah.
That's about 7 years ago.
7 years and 10 days as of today.
And then what happened after that? So that was the last time.
That was the last time.
Was there like a pull factor to pull you out of prison?
Yes, there was this one. Okay, during my last visit, my ex-wife would bring my daughter to come and visit me once every month. So, I have only one daughter. She's 14 this year, my only child, the absolute love of my life. One day in April of 2013, when she came to visit me, that day was very special because that day was her birthday. So my ex-wife had bought her a brand new dress. My daughter was so proud of it. And when she stepped into the cell, she started to show off, Tata, look at my dress, pretty, right? And then when she sat down, I sang her a birthday song. She was so happy, my ex-wife, myself, all singing and clapping, we were all so happy. And then when the song ended, my daughter looked at me with those big innocent eyes, and then she said, Dada, Carrie. Oh my God, I tell you, Maureen, when she said that, my heart absolutely dropped. I guess being her age, she didn't quite understood the concept of prison.
She was 4
She was 4, yeah.
Okay.
And probably in her excitement, she failed to see the glass separating us. All I could do was just sit down there and stare at her because I was shocked. And when she saw that I wasn't moving, she actually looked at me very quizzically and said more forcefully, Dada, Carrie! And I did the only thing I could, which was to shake my head. And I tell you, when she saw me shaking my head, she cried and she bawled, I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go home. And she was crying so loudly that my ex-wife had to bring her and leave because she was affecting the other inmates having their visit. And I tell you, that was the worst day of my entire life. I mean, can you imagine my daughter, my only child, on her birthday? All she wanted for me was for her to carry, and yet I could not do it. So that really broke my heart, and I told myself, Bruce, you have to call it a day, because I know if I don't, history would repeat itself again. And my exact words to myself that day was, I don't think my heart can take it one more time. Yep. So from that day onwards, I told myself, I'm going to change my life. And for the next 3 years of my prison sentence, I took steps into ensuring that my life was changed. So the first thing I did was I did a public renouncement of my secret society affiliations. And then I started attending Bible study classes, a chapel service, and family bonding courses. This is what I did.
So the moment you came out of prison, you hugged her.
The moment I came out of prison, the first thing I wanted to do was to hug her and to play with her. But I also knew that after a long period of separation, I felt that, my biggest fear was that our relationship might be estranged, So, like what I said earlier on, I was at a program at Teen Challenge. So when she came to visit me, that was my biggest fear. But you know what? All it took was about 10-15 minutes. And then we were playing like, it's as if I've never left her side before. Yeah. And the first thing she wanted me to do was put her on my shoulders.
Oh.
Because when she was young,
how old was she then?
When I came out, she was close to primary 1 already. A few more months would be primary 1. Yep.
Oh, but it's okay. I mean, from then on, you have been with her, by her side always.
Yes. Yeah.
So this 7 years has been very fulfilling.
Yes, of course it has been fulfilling. I think for the past 7 years, I've made it my mission to be an advocate for ex-offenders and even for inmates. I've also been a anti-drug advocate. The reason I do this is because, I've wasted most of my adult life in prison. If you couple that with my teenage years, it's basically wasted my whole life away. I only consider this 7 years that I've been out living, because I have never actually lived a life of normalcy, honestly. Because after my father left me from young, I was always targeted by my uncles. Came back drunk. I will be koropok by them, kena whacked by them and all that. So I've never really had a normal life until this past 7 years. And I really like this 7 years a lot. And I don't wish anyone to have to go through the kind of life I did. Because this is what drug addiction will do to a person. It will destroy a person's life without the person even knowing it. People would start going into drugs thinking that they can control drugs.
Yep.
Just for the fun of it, this time, one time only. Not everyone is so lucky, honestly, because I think a lot of them, they forgot about the cat. The cat, right? Curiosity.
Yep.
And how the cat died.
Yeah.
Everyone would think that they can control the drugs, not knowing that it's actually the other way around. Right? Yeah. So I don't wish this upon anyone's life. That's why I made it my mission to share. All
And
right?
to help other inmates.
Exactly. Yeah. Food. Wow. My number one favorite food, not sold outside one, or make from home one.
What?
Scrambled eggs.
Huh? Who make?
My mom.
Oh, your mama.
Scrambled eggs and
How old
toast.
is your mom now?
70. This year 78.
So she makes the best scrambled egg.
To
Your
me,
opinion.
she does.
Oh.
Yeah.
But what
It's my
about
comfort food.
local food?
But I don't know what the stall is not around anymore. But I can say, right?
Yeah.
Of course. We're rolling.
Yeah.
So, I was telling you, my grandfather had a shop in China Street. So we used to make popiah pay and noodles. 我会做包饼皮的，不要开玩笑。
哇，你要跟朱雀的 popiah fight 啊！
I am the last person of my generation who knows how to make. Just that I've not been practicing for 30 over years. So back then when my grandfather, when I was very small, at the corner of China Street into Nanking Street, we call Tau Kueh lah. There used to be those push carts selling. There's one booth or one store selling one. Bae.
Bae? Zop.
Bae lor.
What kind of bae?
So like Teochew Muay kind where you order your porridge or your rice, then you choose the liao that you want. So my grandfather would bring me there. When I was very small, about 3 years old, 4 years old. Would I kills me kaki kio. Then I always order
What?
Tuka and kiam neng. Because those were the things that my grandfather loved also. Okay? And can you imagine at the age of 3 or 4, 我自己一个人I can finish one tuka by myself, no? Yeah. Wow. And my grandfather would come back and then he always tell my, he was proud of me, but he would pretend to complain to my mom. 講哇，你看恁囝食到我破產啊！你看自己這要食了這刀卡。
Impressive eh! You're only 3 or 4 then.
So that is the deepest memory I have of a food that really touches me. Because whenever I eat a tuka, I always think about my grandfather. Because my grandfather was someone that really doted on me. He really doted on me. Yeah.
So is there like a particular place you go for your tuka now?
Now, honestly, I've tried many tuka. Recently, I tried one I really like.
Where?
Founders Bak Kut Teh, the one at Balestier. I like that tuka. The one at Balestier, the rest I don't want to say the franchise or 不要讲 the one where the owner is there.
Wow, but their Bak Kut Teh.
The Bak Kut Teh okay leh.
Okay you like
No, the one where the owner is no.
Yeah, I know the original Balestier one.
讲真的不用紧 you tell me your
No,
take.
I just feel that 没有以前的那个味道咯. It's very watered down. It's not peppery enough. 就
Okay.
Not very nice anymore.
Because when I went back few months ago, it was quite okay.
It's still okay?
Yeah, it was quite. And that day, Mr. Tan Chuan Jin was there also.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should give it another chance.
I give it another try.
Yeah. Okay, last question. If you have to give up one of the following: rice, noodles, bread, and or potato, which one would you give up and why?
Rice. Very fast.
You give up rice?
Rice, I give up.
Why?
I am someone who can survive on bread or noodles every day. You must understand, I'm half masale, half amor.
Baguette for you, sir.
Baguette, yes. Croissant or baguette, no problem. Yeah.
Roti.
I'm someone who can survive on bread. And if you let me choose between noodles and rice, noodles any time of the day.
No wonder we are here eating char kway teow, guys.
Yes. So this whole trip, have we eaten anything rice?
Don't have leh.
Only noodles and bread, right?
Yeah.
Kajing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you brought me to prawn noodles, hae mee.
Yes.
Then we had roti.
Yes.
And then we went to
roti again.
roti again.
And now we have
otah. And then now we are eating char kway teow. Oh yeah,
Yes.
no rice at all.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you are a noodles person.
Yes, I am, because my grandfather make noodles ma. Probably influence probably.
So I look forward to having a chance to try your popiah pear next time.
Sure, God
if
willing, I have a
possible.
chance to make. I'll make it for you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Bruce, for joining me in this podcast. Thank you so much for sharing your
My
story.
absolute pleasure. So don't need to follow my TikTok, but if you want to follow, it's Bruce Mathieu. My Matthew is spelled Mathieu. But the more important message I want to say is, take care, don't take drugs.
Bye-bye.